Sometimes I get really hungry in the afternoon and I think, wouldn't it be great to cook this dish? But then, we haven't got enough time. So how about if we had something to speed things up? And that's why I'm going to use a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker takes something that would normally take 3 hours to cook and shortens it to about 45 minutes, which is perfect for me because I get hungry all the time. Now, to show you how good it is, I'm going to do a Sichuan beef ribs. The beef rib is a great piece of meat. Lots of bone in there, lots of muscle in there, and some fat as well to give it great flavour. Now, we're going to add some more flavour to it, my Sichuan marinade that's going to go all over it, and I'm going to cook it in the liquid as well. A nice big red chilli here. I've sliced it all the way through and kept the seeds in it. Because this is Sichuan, we want it to be nice and hot. I've got some red onion as well, chopped nice and fine, some garlic and some ginger, and plenty of that. Now, to spice it up, I've got some star anise, I've got some Chinese 5-spice, some cinnamon, and some whole Sichuan peppercorns. In they go. Now, we need some extra spice, and I've got some dried chili flakes here and some whole chili. Grab them like that and give them a little bit of a crush, and they go all the way through it. The trick is to make it as spicy as you possibly can. Now, some chili paste. This is fantastic stuff. Sriracha is always great, and this is a great little chili paste that has a great flavour as well. I've got some more Sichuan peppercorns, and what I did is I ground them down so they're nice and fine. The Sichuan peppercorn gives it a lovely heat and numbs the lips a little bit, so you really know it's in there. I've got about 2 tablespoons of that in there, and some brown sugar because it gives it a little bit of sweetness as well. And I've got about 1/4 cup in there. Some liquid, some Chinese rice wine, about 1 cup of that. That'll help to bring everything together and gives it a lovely flavour. Some soy sauce, and I'm using light soy here, but you can use any soy you want. Dark soy, mushroom soy, sweet soy, it doesn't really matter. I've got a whole bottle in there because I want it to taste fantastic. Coriander and spring onion. And I'm just going to rough chop these. This is going to go into the pressure cooker and cook at high pressure, so it's all going to fall apart. Into my marinade this goes. Now, a little stir around like this just to bring it all together. And because I haven't got a lot of liquid in here, it's going to be really strong and flavour up these ribs beautifully. Stir that around like that. That's fantastic. Now, ribs need salt because salt loves meat, meat loves salt. So because you're cooking it in a pressure cooker and with a marinade like this, you still need to put a bit of salt on here. Lots of salt on the outside there, and that will make these ribs taste delicious. Now, I would normally marinate the ribs for at least an hour or 2 just to make them nice and flavoursome, but I'm just going to rub a little bit on the outside here just to get a bit of flavour into it. Now, if I was going to cook this in the oven, I would add a lot more liquid to it and cook it for about 3 hours, but this is going to cook in no time. Now, the trick is with these ribs is to curl them around like this, pick them up, and then pop them straight into the pressure cooker. Push them off to the side there like that, and then grab the next one, roll it around like this, and then pop it straight in as well. A little bit messy on your fingers, but you can smell that. It smells fantastic. The trick with this is to pour the marinade on top here like this. Now, the liquid will go to the bottom, and that will create a beautiful, flavoursome steam that'll come all the way up through the top. Now, if you need to, you could always add a little bit of water, which I will. I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of water just to make sure that I've got enough liquid in the bottom. Now, here's a good idea is to wipe your hands before you put the lid on it so you don't get mess everywhere. Now, this is really, really easy to work from here. Pop the lid on like that, pop this handle down here, and that locks it into place. The trick now is to pop the heat on. It'll start steaming and a little alarm will go off here. That will tell you it's time to turn it right down. Now, once it's turned down, it'll cook nice and gently. I'll set the timer for 45 minutes. When the alarm goes off, I'll let it cool down. Then I'll let the steam off, open the lid, and tuck into my beautiful ribs. This is really good. I've just been smelling it for the last hour or so. Now, what I did is I checked it at 45 minutes and it just needed a little bit more cooking, so I put it on for another 15 minutes and it was bang on. Now, the trick with using a pressure cooker is let it cool down before you let off the steam. That keeps all the juices and all the liquid in the pot where it belongs. Now, I've just taken it off. The steam's let off. That looks fantastic. Now, the beef, I can tell already, is cooked all the way through. It's really nice and tender. And this is the fun part, trying to get it out. With a good set of tongs, I'm just going to grab this large chunk here and it just tears off the bone. That's how you know it's cooked all the way through. See that bone? When it pops out like that, you know it's going to be tender. Now this is fantastic. I'm just going to grab a few spoons of the sauce to pop it over the top. The sauce has got lovely oil in it, and that's going to have the chili flavour. What I would normally do is take all the meat out and then pour the juice, the sauce, the Sichuan flavour over the top of it. This looks fantastic like this. Add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to some coriander, some chives, some spring onions, and some deep fried shallots. This is just a little bit of green garnish that sits on top there like that. That's all you need to do. I'm just going to tear a little bit off with my finger, and that shows you how tender it is. It's just steaming. It smells fantastic. I know with a little bit more sauce on there, it'll be even more delicious. I'll tell you what, when you want beef ribs in a hurry, there's no quicker way than doing it in a pressure cooker. That gives you great beef every single time.